And we are... What the fuck? What a way to open. What a way to start the podcast. The first second. Fuck!
Well, without further ado, let's all get the introductions out of the way. Everybody, please begin.
It is I, InkiCrow, and welcome to the InkiCast once again. I'm joined by my buddies. Introduce yourselves.
JX here. So what up? I'm busy right now.
Yeah. We have Firedragonpunch on the other side. Say hi.
Yo, hello. This is FDP, which is you'll probably hear me being referred to as Fire.
He'll be also referred to as Ken Masters.
Shut up.
Or Weave Trash.
And you're Transformers Fapper.
Hey,
Yeah.
Good start.
And we have G5000 Gunshot on another end. Say
Just
hi.
gonna make a quick clarification here. You guys aren't my buddies. You're just my co-hosts.
Okay.
Brutal. Anyway.
Ow. Why would you do that?
You know I don't mean the salt. I don't need the vinegar.
Okay, so Finn here. I do a lot of voices, and all I can tell you right now is it's happening somewhere.
Also,
Always is, always will be. Also, my perfect self figurine is holding a pencil in the best possible way.
Also, some of us refer to Gunshot as Gunny, so just to clarify on that part. I mean, I think only me and Sheba call him like that.
That's about right.
Next.
And we have SuperStarDes on the bottom. Say hi.
He's currently eating, remember?
Yeah, we have SuperStarDes on the bottom. Say hi.
He's not in right now.
Oh, right.
He'll be joining us after he eats.
I'm gonna take a picture of this and show you guys.
And lastly, our guest for this evening.
SleepyMei. Say hi.
Hello.
You can do better than that, Rosen. Come on.
Well, I could do better than that, but then I'd spray food all over my screen.
I don't think you want any on a messy desk.
Yeah, my father made goulash tonight.
Oh boy.
You guys ready? There you go.
What the hell?
What are we starting off with today?
So, should we start with Mario or just get something else out of the way first?
The Chan thing.
Might as well get that out.
No, you're sticking with this one. Shut up, no one's pussing out on us.
I'm completely oblivious.
It's my funny, right? What do you
I'm
guys
not
think?
gonna bother saying anything on that. I still have my mic on, but I'm just not gonna talk.
On what? The fact that people are analyzing every single thing that lives and breathes?
It's been a thing since forever, Gunshot. Do you really think I'm new to that concept?
No, but like, it's like getting it's getting out of hand. It's a virus. It's an epidemic.
It started with the planet, and now we have Clorox Chan.
I question why with the bleach.
Because people want to drink her. If you don't know.
Maybe because of the breast.
No, see, people either want to drink her or extend her into an overly long series that outstayed its welcome. I mean, what?
What?
Isn't that like everything?
My leg fell asleep.
Jesus.
Yes, my leg falling asleep, bad jokes.
No, my leg actually fell asleep.
Like
I know.
Chan?
Wait, what?
We're talking about Chris Chan?
No, God.
No way. I think we've already gotten enough talk from last time.
Oh yeah, we did. We did talk about Christian last time. No, but like,
No, we
No,
got
that is-
we Denver last time. This time I'd rather not go back.
Lord. So he. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know why I keep looking up that stuff.
You're the masochist of the group.
Shut up.
I thought I was.
Oh yeah.
well.
It's
Guys,
not my
I'm
fault the internet decides to fetishize and animeize every single thing that we know and love.
Well, it's the fucking internet. What do you expect?
Hey,
Not now.
Wow.
Criticizing
here, and that same internet can screw us over.
Sort of.
Okay. I'm on a news. I'm on a news at. On the news at information on it. It says. I looked at it. It says most played games on Switch since launch. So I'm going to
That's
start from
on a different topic.
Oh.
We're starting the podcast already.
Okay.
Well,
Introduce yourself, Des.
he already
Yes.
did.
Sorry.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, sorry. I didn't. Wait. Hi. I'm SuperStarDes.
And you came in late because of dinner. Let's just leave it at that.
Goes to show how unprofessional we really are.
Yeah, that's
Do
about
we
right.
really, do we really have a plan to be professional?
I tried to.
I don't know.
Finn just helped that statement out even more.
I kind of want us to be professional, and I honestly kind of cringed a little bit, but you know what? It's fine.
I thought we were supposed to be professional here, goddammit.
Okay.
Podcasts are real fun.
And you just turned into old man McGucket. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Fine, let's just move to the Switch games.
Ye-
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, like what Nintendo could be announcing at this rumored direct this month.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Or what we've been playing.
Hoping we get
this
more
past,
info on Metroid Prime 4.
They're gonna keep that completely quiet. They're not gonna say anything about it. They're gonna keep it all
Well,
locked.
Remember, guys, one at a time.
I would say that with how they've been handling their releases, especially since last year, we're probably going to hear something about it.
I don't know, but this is gonna be special. This is gonna be the return to an old dormant franchise. They want to keep everything as secretive as possible. That's what they were trying to do with when they were adding the 4th installment to Smash. But then some idiot leaked the whole roster, and he actually got fired after that.
You kind of deserved it for spoiling the surprise.
Oh yeah, but also if you notice, Nintendo kind of has learned about keeping the hype going on for too long. Remember, if I remember correctly, Breath of the Wild, before we knew it was called Breath of the Wild, it was just Zelda U. Was announced 5 years before it actually came out.
There was absolutely nothing on that new Zelda game till the Switch, the Switch was in development when it was still called the NX.
Yeah, and even then they kept mostly quiet about it, and it really sold well, but it's ultimately I kind of noticed I'm starting to think Nintendo might actually be trying because of their new director, they may be trying to actually have more consistent release schedules. I mean, just look at all the games they put out.
Yeah, finally getting smart and living up to the new standards.
Yeah, new standard, and think about Nintendo's usual release schedule, which is one major game every 3 to 4 years.
I don't know. I mean, somehow, kinda. Usually, all the major releases are always either a Zelda or a Mario.
Yeah, but you still usually only get those once every 3 or 4 years, and never so close to each other like we got with the Switch. Usually either get a Mario or a Zelda, and they're usually spaced pretty far apart.
Well, it's because they were making this different. They're gonna completely do a 180 on what they did with the Wii U.
Yeah, that's good. This has me
I mean,
excited for
the Zelda trailer came out. The first the first Breath of the Wild trailer came out in I think like 2015, right?
Mm-hmm. I do believe so.
Yeah, and it was just Link fighting against the Guardian. That was it, and that was literally everything we had for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
And I remember people were going absolutely crazy about that, and it was to the point where people were theorizing that it was actually gonna be a Legend of Zelda game where you'd play as Zelda instead of Link.
Which was proven to be false once the game released.
Which sucked, because that would have actually been kind of cool.
Yeah, it would have been fun to actually play as Zelda for once. And it doesn't help that the story kind of, emphasizes that.
Which, on that point, and I've expressed this outside of a podcast before, but it makes me wonder, was that the original intention? That we were supposed to play as Zelda, just given the honestly kind of heavy focus on her compared to everything else?
If you ask me, I was thinking it was gonna be like with Link being a thing, I thought there was gonna be an option to be either a Link will like have either of them be the main character, like play as a female Link. That would have been great, but then again, I think it's better we didn't, considering the sexy things people have been doing with Link, especially that fucking Gerudo outfit.
Wow, this is what happens when you have your blonde male characters cross-dress. I mean, remember what happened to Cloud way back when? Yeah,
draw that to this very day.
Yeah.
My
name is Thunderhead.
Makes me glad I never played 7.
Of course, because you never play anything fun.
I played 6. Much superior title, in my opinion. Fight me.
Oh boy, we're not going to get into that argument.
I'm not.
But yeah, I don't know. I do feel like there are some remnants of Zelda being planned to be playable from the get-go, but I guess there was a switch, because I remember when the game was coming out now and they were finally doing like developer videos and stuff like that, like I think it was Miyamoto and Aonuma that were having a lot of
Arguments?
but there's a specific word about it, like artistic differences, there we go, when trying to develop the game, because like I think it was Miyamoto that still wanted the traditional style, while Aonuma was trying to like make it more open world, because he was noticing like the trend in video games right now, how people want open world stuff.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Then
Oh,
then I think I remember Sword also suffered through that same development issue as well between the two.
Yeah, but I think it was that Miyamoto won out on that one.
Yeah, one out of it. It's like, you know what I think would actually be perfect for the next Zelda game? If you basically combine the two concepts. You have the open world stuff with Breath of the Wild, and then the story stuff from Skyward Sword.
And
it's like
to
right
add
now,
up,
those two games are practically polar opposites. One has a really deep story, kind of weak gameplay, like not bad, but then you have Breath of the Wild, which has really good gameplay, but the story's trash. There's things to
I
like
enjoyed
about
it.
but
oh, you just heard people.
that's my opinion. It's like it's nice
Yeah,
to
well,
say
your
it's
opinion.
okay.
Yeah, well, your opinion is wrong.
No.
Just fucking with you.
So,
Don't start.
I say if I can explain myself.
I mean, this is what I'd like in the stories pot. What if by some crazy chance, you know how everybody's like the main 3 characters are always assigned a piece of the Triforce?
Yeah.
Okay, what if like the 3 main characters get different pieces of the Triforce this time? Like, what if it's not Link that gets the Triforce of Curse? What if he gets either the Triforce of Power or the Triforce of Wisdom?
That would be
That
fun.
Like, what if in a scenario where it starts off like, think of it like it starts off like Mario Odyssey. Like, it's we don't get the whole cutscene of like, oh, you're Link and you gotta save Zelda from Ganon. No, you're starting right at the final battle of a supposed Zelda game, right? You're going up against Ganon, and then by some like crazy goddess magic, they create like this time loop or time alteration, and like all the three main trio get their Triforce pieces switched, and you're like thrown into this alternate reality.
Well, that
Where say Zelda gets the Triforce of Courage, Ganondorf gets the Triforce of Wisdom, and Link is the Triforce of Power.
so basically a reversal.
Well, not necessarily a reversal, but like something we haven't seen, like something like fresh. Like think how crazy it would be if like Ganon and Link, like Ganondorf and Link were friends since the very beginning. Like imagine that. Like what if the two of them were like, what if the two of them trained in dueling since they were like kids or teens?
Okay.
And could you imagine how much emotional conflict the story would have if those friends have to fight against each other because a prophecy tells them to?
That does sound like an concept. That sounds like one concept that would be one hell of an execution. That would be one hell of a great concept, but it depends on the execution of it as well, because there are some stories that have fucked that up.
What were you gonna say about that, Sleepy?
Actually, I think a good way to start that off is an aforementioned fight between Link and Ganondorf. But while you're playing Link, and as soon as you strike down Ganondorf, a cutscene plays that shows that maybe Link isn't exactly being the good guy here.
That can also play.
Basically set it up expecting that Link's defeating the King of Evil, but no, Link is actually the bad guy here.
Because that can definitely work. I could definitely see that happening, and that'd be a very entertaining contrast between like what's already been established now. And with the success of Breath of the Wild and how they're shaking up the formula, who knows how much they can switch up now to see like what they can do next. Because they're basically like just testing the waters to see how much they can change the formula. And I'm definitely open to that. I'm definitely open to a formula break.
The one thing that would really expect, since every single game, every single Zelda game, you see Link, you play as Link, and Link always carries the Triforce of Courage. So in a scenario where Zelda gets the Triforce of Courage, you play as Zelda instead.
Yep.
That's in the two most recent titles where when you think about it, it's like Skyward Sword, it wasn't brought up till the end because that's basically setting up the rest of the series, and Breath of the Wild, I don't think the Triforce or the Goddesses got mentioned once.
Oh no, they were completely
the Triforce in some of the iconography, but
yeah, they're completely scarce throughout the entire story. Like they never mention anything about the goddess or the Triforce. The Triforce is basically an afterthought. But that would be like a good way to delve back into the main lore by completely swapping it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have liked an excuse of why everyone's suddenly worshiping this one singular goddess over the three from games past. Like, where did they go?
Oh, Hylia?
Yeah, Hylia. It's like, there's definite evidence that, Din, Nehru, and Furor had to have been around sometime, because you still have, through the story, you have Zelda visiting the springs of power, courage, and wisdom. So that something has to account there.
I think what they wanted to set the story up is that they worship all the goddesses, but since Hylia is like the goddess of the human characters, quote unquote, the Hylians, that's what they give the most respect to.
Yeah, but then where are the other ones, though? So that's the thing. It's like, yeah, Hylia is basically the goddess of Hyrule, but where are the three that created Hyrule? I mean, come on, they freaking almost every single Like, all throughout Ocarina of Time, that was hammered in that the goddesses made Hyrule, and then suddenly they didn't? It's really confusing when you think about it.
We can blame down writing.
The plot holes are hard.
Don't get me wrong. Like, I like Nintendo story writing for the most part, but let's face it, from game to game, they have because the games every single game is a different timeline, different setup. It's always confusing.
But I can see the story for
Well, there are sometimes they do direct sequels.
Sometimes, and only sometimes.
Yeah, but I'm proposing an idea for a story though. Nintendo, if you're listening, you better take this idea. I swear to God. But here's what I'm proposing. So in that intro scene, right, when you're doing the traditional Link versus Ganon, and here's how we can fit Skyward Sword's like lore into this whole like mess and piece, and how we can make sense of it. You know how Demise is always going to reincarnate as Ganondorf, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Well, from what we've seen in Breath of the Wild, Ganon can stop that flow. So who's to say that Demise couldn't do the same? So what if it was Demise that was finally fed up of Ganondorf's failures and decides to possess Link instead, since he always clearly is the winner of the bouts? I'm amazed that they haven't delved into that idea at all.
Despite the fact we always keep getting the Shadow Links.
No, but what I'm saying is Demise could finally have the upper hand, since he's always carrying the Triforce of Power, and now he's basically booting out the other piece, or he can keep that other piece, and then we get this corrupted version of Link that starts to become the new Demon King.
Right.
How crazy and cool that could be.
It does sound like a crazy concept, and it sounds like something that it would be pretty cool to see, admittedly.
But who would be the character that would be playable?
However, though, that all hinges on whether Aonuma wants to re-add any of the old stuff.
And also depends on Miyamoto, because remember, we know how Miyamoto can be with how picky he is about some games he's worked on.
Oh yeah, those games are most Nintendo games are practically his baby. You don't want people messing with your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, need we look at what happened with the development of Skyward Sword?
Yeah. And the biggest obstacle that definitely is if those rumors of creative differences were true is, well, it's like you notice how in Breath of the Wild, it's like they said that they wanted to do an absolute total shakeup of the formula, but it kind of falls into the realm of the more it changes, the more it stays the same. It's like the gameplay, it changed, but the overall everything else was the same. You still had Zelda being the damsel in distress. You had, I guess, Allegory Ganondorf in this case, because let's face it, Ganondorf didn't even actually show up this time. It was just a ghost pig from planet whatever. And you still had Link being the incredibly silent, saves the day hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's odd that they changed everything else but that.
I mean, it's still gotta be a Zelda game.
Well, it's gotta be. Well, the thing is, you can still have it be a Zelda game. The thing is, it is a game. It does not have. As long as it has the characters and themes, it doesn't have to be defined by the roles it's played, as the gameplay proved. I mean, the game won Game of the Year for its gameplay, pretty much.
And we have seen that there are games that don't even have Zelda or Ganondorf in them. Look at Link's Awakening.
Yeah, Link's Awakening, the Oracle series.
Actually, Ganon was in the Oracle series.
Okay. Yeah, the problem with that is problem with that is I was never able to figure out how to link them, so I never fully beat them. But on their own, on those two games by themselves, you had completely different villains. General Onyx and Baran the Sorceress.
Mm-hmm.
Those were two completely standalone villains.
Well, actually, you didn't have to. Actually, the thing was, you didn't have to link them. I mean, once you beat the game, you got a code for the a password for the other game, and then that's what you have to do.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that until much later on. You got to remember, I got that game was when the Game Boy Color first came out, pretty much.
I do remember.
Internet was kind of out of my reach at the time.
I think I remember that code system was used on Golden Sun, Dark Dawn. No, Golden Sun, The Lost Age. They didn't have that code system in that game.
Yeah, so overall, I am of the opinion that the story is pretty much, for me personally, the story is, like, I can see the enjoyable elements of it. It had so much potential, but it just holds everything back because it's still relying on those same tropes.
Yeah. It does kind of feel like
but Zelda was an essential part. That's what I liked.
No, see, that's the thing. That was the best part. She was actually essential. She had character, emotions, the actual arc for the most part. But then they kind of end it by shoving her once again in the damsel in distress princess closet. It's basically like Miyamoto came out. It's like, okay, you had your 10 minutes of fun back in the closet, and she just sort of goes back in the closet, and then the door gets locked.
Again.
And a sign that says "Do not open until Christmas" gets put up.
I just want a game where I can play as Zelda.
You have to admit that it's like the champions were a huge missed opportunity. Like, they were interesting, could have had something characterized so much, but it's like they just get talked about. Yes, you get to know about them just a bit, and then a bit more with the new Ballads DLC, and then they're dead. That's it. You get their power. What then?
Despite the fact that power boosting is still a good thing, and the fact that we got more behind the motivations just makes it more depressing that they died.
Well, yeah, makes it more depressing, but it's like, once again, it's like you don't have, like, you, the player, don't have a chance to build any rapport with them. In a video game, when a character dies, and it's a character that you really liked, like, you had spent time with them, grew close to them, like, imagine if it was Zelda that's the one that actually got killed in this game. Since you actually do spend some time getting to know her, to actually understand her plight and all that. That would be heartbreaking, but it's like the champions, it's like, it sucks. It's
actually Link that dies.
Sort of dies. Yeah. Kinda. It's like a zombie. It's like a Redead.
A very sexy Redead.
Yeah.
It's like, and they never actually bring up that, like, the freaking Resurrection Chamber? That's never brought up again.
They only use that thing once and never again.
Yeah. And it's like, in the same time, why does it take 100 years? Like, okay, why on earth does it take 100 years for that to bring him back to life? That is an awful long time in the drunk tank, Link. I actually kind of think if it had maybe taken a year at most, like, it had taken a year, and Link wakes up amidst the ruins of Hyrule, not overgrown, but amidst the near fresh ruins, the aftermath of everything. And that realization, and that aftermath, basically what happens is it's not enough time for him to actually have lost his memories, and all that pain and loss is still very fresh in his mind. How do you think he would actually react if you were allowed to convey more emotion other than blank face and occasional surprise?
You mean grunts?
Yeah, that too. See, that was my biggest problem with Link, is he wasn't allowed to express himself, and it's like, you're wanting us to believe that...
Okay, they at least gave us the... They at least explained why it's like that. If you've read Zelda's Diary, you get your explanation for it.
I know they read it, because I'm going to say it, I think that was kind of a dumb reason to not to, because he doesn't do these things because he bears the entire weight of the world. Well, what's going to happen when that entire weight can and did crash down on him?
Nothing.
Think about that. He chooses not to speak because the eyes of the world are on him. The weight of the world is on his shoulders because he's the one that must stop the becoming evil, and he failed quite spectacularly.
And yet he barely reacts to it because he lost his memories.
Yeah, it's like me. He's engaged to Mifa, finds out she's dead. Oh well. Look,
Shit.
I found a mushroom.
Okay, can I okay. What is the next? What about the next topic?
Anyway.
We were talking about Nintendo Switch, upcoming Nintendo games. Yes.
Oh, shoot.
Well, we got sidetracked. Bayonetta, discuss.
Honestly, I'm not
Hey,
sure.
Okay, sorry, JX, go.
Honestly, I'm not surprised we're getting points again.
I'm just happy all those salty idiots that boycotted Bayonetta 2 because it was on Wii U didn't kill the franchise. Because it didn't sell very well.
Yeah, I am buying it for first day. I mean, I bought, and I'm going to full disclosure. I was kind of a little bit bitter that Bayonetta 2 was not coming to PC because Nintendo technically owns it.
Yeah, but
Streamlog, you can deny it all you want, but Nintendo owns it, deal with it, and no amount of your bitching is going to change it. Sorry, I just had to get that out.
Yeah, it's like the first game is a bit more open because it was originally developed by Sony, was it? Point is, the first game's main developer wasn't Nintendo, but the second one, Nintendo actually funded that, and actually, of upcoming Switch games, Bayonetta 3, I actually kind of learned something interesting. If Bayonetta 3 doesn't succeed, Platinum Games might be screwed.
well, they're slowly getting back together, after, like, in terms of sales, recently.
Yeah, in terms of sales, which is why I'm going to get Bayonetta 1 and 2 digital, because I would get physical, but the fact Bayonetta 1 is not a cartridge kind of kills it for me. It's actually almost exactly what kind of killed Fire Emblem Fates for me was, want a physical version of that very last one? Too bad. It's digital only unless you get the super expensive because Scalper's Collector's Edition.
Yeah,
You can guess where my birthday money went.
yeah, I did the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't blame me there. I like my game, like I like my handheld games to be physical because digital kind of annoying.
Trust me, I dealt with that when I got Fire Emblem Warriors on the Switch, and I also bought the DLC, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I just recently plopped down $30 on Xenoblade Chronicles 2's DLC because I don't know. I've put almost 200 fucking hours in that.
That's honestly one of the two. Unless Nintendo surprises me with their new stuff, well, that depends on what I'll get next.
I can see that.
Their Xenoblade 2, Super Bomberman R, or whatever Nintendo announced that they do.
I would love to see that. Was
That rumor is, though, if that rumor is true, though.
Yeah, that is admittedly kind of hoping 2018 is a good year for them as well, because admittedly it's like, well, 2017 was fucking fantastic. I hope they didn't blow their entire load. That would be not good.
I doubt they have, because look at the Switch currently. I doubt we're gonna be seeing a downgrade so far because of the Switch's success. They sold a lot of Switches this year. Last year.
Like I think they actually outsold the PS2 in its first year, if I remember.
And
Damn.
they also outsold the Wii right now.
The Wii U, you mean?
Oh yeah,
the
you know.
original
Okay.
No, the original Wii.
Oh yeah. Cool. Let's say yeah, the Wii U. I think ever any consoles actually outsold that thing. Sad as it is, because I liked my Wii U.
Same
I
here.
still, I still think the
It's a
Wii
decent
U.
console.
I still think the Wii U, despite what happened, is still a good console. It just suffered poorly from marketing and brand familiarity, of course.
Oh,
Yeah, it wasn't.
Biggest problem with the Wii U was they just kind of assumed we slapped the name Wii on it, everyone ever will buy it, but never really telling the consumer what they were getting. Was it an expansion, a new controller? No one fucking knew. By the time everyone knew, it was too late. It was sales for that thing were in the garbage.
Unfortunately.
I mean, yeah, it had some great exclusives for it, but
I mean, look at Xenoblade X. It got undeserved hate, and it's still a good game. Did I say anything about Wonderful 101? That's a criminally underrated game.
I mean, I know that thanks to Quarter Guy.
yeah.
Actually, it was thanks to the Quarter Guy that I bought. What was it called? Sin and Punishment Star Successor. That's a good game. If you ever see it like used, get it. It's great.
What system's it for? Wii?
Yeah, the Wii.
Cool.
Ironically, we only got that game thanks to the Virtual Console version of the original Sin and Punishment, which is only in Japan, by the way. Thankfully, we did get the Virtual Console for the Wii shop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can still import it. The entire game is still voiced in English.
Shockingly.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, the first Resident Evil for the PlayStation, even in the Japanese version, they still speak English. It's funny because there was going to be Japanese voices, but because they were the Capcom of Japan thought the Japanese voices were terrible, they just didn't dub it in Japanese, and they kept the English voices.
Oh, the irony!
Oh yeah, the irony. Oh man.
Because looking at RE1's voice acting today, dear lord, it's so bad that's good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like,
remember, guys, Barry has a rope.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say the voice acting for that game is so bad it's good. Like it was cheesily good.
It was cheesily good. It's like, okay, basically the thing is, the classic Resident Evil 1 wouldn't be the same if they suddenly added competent voice acting.
Well, look at the remakes.
Well, that's the remake. That's classic.
Well, I mean, the remake still has its bad lines.
Oh, dude, every Resident Evil game has horrible lines, even 7.
Oh, here's my favorite one. When Barry gives Jill the acid rounds, he's like, "Hey Jill, look what I found. A can of fizz. It's sure to yellow and mellow those things."
Okay, Barry is a treasure.
Which, yeah, it took till Revelations 2 for us to play as him again.
But no, it's like, no, actually, you got that. I think Revelations 2 was the only time you actually get to play as him, like as an actual character, not like a Mercenaries cameo. If he was ever in Mercenaries, I can't remember.
He was in Mercenaries.
He wasn't. The Mercenaries 3.
Yeah, there you go.
And he also was playable in 5 as well. In Mercenaries mode, of course. He didn't get a full-on story role till Revelations 2. But,
I am actually considering picking Revelations on the Switch.
I want to get Revelations 2. I've never played it.
Yeah,
They're both.
That's the thing.
Here's the thing, though. They're both $20 a piece.
Can you get a collection?
Yes, it did. But you only get a physical copy of the first game and a download code for the second.
So it's going to be another download game. I mean, I got an upgraded SD card, but that's the brilliant thing about the Switch. It's like my PS4. It's like, is it on PC? Yes, get it on PC, because, well, I have to look at a separate screen now, don't I? And all my stuff goes on my PC.
Actually, I played. Did anyone here get the first Revelations on the 3DS?
I did not.
Nope.
I did.
I was actually more surprised when I heard there was a Resident Evil game on the 3DS.
Yeah, I got it on the.
I remember.
I got it on the 3DS, and not only that, I also bought the Circle Pad Pro. I don't regret it. I still enjoyed that game.
Oh,
I
Revelations.
freaking played MPS3 on 3DS. Now that was a big surprise to me. Like all the games you would expect on a Nintendo console, that wasn't GameCube. Actually, just in general, an MGS game that's completely rare.
Have we gotten this
either?
There are some things about that pissed me off though, like Twin Snakes. It's that all these people saying shit like, they ruined this game with all that over the top cutscenes. I'm like, fuck off. That shit's awesome.
I will say it does kind of go a little bit over the top compared to the original, but
that's why I like it so much. Especially the scene with when Gray Fox first makes his appearance. It's fucking badass.
oh yeah, it just kind of puts it in line with the rest of the series. I mean, come on, one of your major bad guys in 3 was a guy that had a freaking bee-related Tommy gun, and
Okay, so
bee everything actually.
hold on.
Okay.
My turn. Have we gotten to Star Wars yet?
Nope.
Not yet.
No, yeah,
All right.
probably should
Think
probably.
it-
Before you do, I think
yeah.
let me just say one more thing, and then you can
Setting up already.
ramble on. Just let me finish. Yahtzee summed it up best when he reviewed Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. You can't start laughing at yourself now, Metal Gear. We've been doing that ever since we found out Solid Snake could refer to a cock. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, Metal Gear's always had ridiculous shit. Remember the first game, the second game, Snake kills Big Boss with a fucking can of hairspray and a lighter?
Okay, we really need to get you like a time limit of how long you can talk.
Shut the fuck up, Gunshot.
Hey.
All right.
Okay, moving on.
Star Wars: The Last Jedi. It fucking sucked. Here's why.
I will disagree with you that I actually really fucking like that movie.
No,
Not all of it, but a good majority of it.
I was completely disappointed. I feel like Disney's completely botching the Star Wars universe. It's not even cool to be a Star Wars fan anymore. It's just hipster normie shit now. But here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. It just boggles my mind so much how utter disrespectful Disney is being right now to the original trilogy. And let alone the prequels, because they don't want to touch the prequels. They're pretending the prequels doesn't even exist, when in fact, I would gladly watch the first 3 prequels over The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and enjoy it more.
Now, see, okay, so I'm in a weird place when it comes to the new trilogy. I like the designs and technology they've got going on there. Like, I love the new stormtroopers. I love the new ships. The First Order walkers are freaking amazing. Not the shitty Lego version. What was that?
But like, what I just don't appreciate at all is, first off, how they handled like the original characters. Okay, they completely ruined all the development they made from the first 3 films. Like, first example, Han. Spoiler alert: he dies in The Force Awakens. Shut up about it. But here, let me go. Han. He starts out as a smuggler, right? But then he like starts warming up to the idea of being a rebel, and then slowly but surely he becomes one of the like major rebel leaders. And what does he do? The first time he finds out like Ben left and joined Snoke on the dark side, he just abandons everything and then just runs off to be a smuggler again. Like, he starts right back at square one with a crappier ship, and we get like an exact replay scene when they're like running around the junk ship from the 2 gangs. So that's basically just Diet Jabba the Hutt.
Well, here's the thing with that. That was more J.J. Abrams' fault because, let's face it, a brand new Star Wars movie after so long. Ultimately, I think Disney was adamant on not taking too many risks, so to speak. So they went that comfortable, safe place of, A New Hope, and yes, it was very much a retread.
And that's why people didn't like it. That's why people were lukewarm to receive The Force Awakens, while everybody praised Rogue One. Rogue One was immediately a better movie. Immediately more entertaining. It was...
I agree.
Amazing. Like, that's all I could say. Like, the characters that were introduced, we don't know them, but we get time to learn. Like, sure, they crammed in way too many main characters, but at least what we got, we were able to figure out pieces and bits of their personalities. Well, unfortunately, we usually focused on Jin and, what's the guy's name? What's the character that Diego Luna played?
Cassius?
Yeah, Cassius, I think. Albeit we had to focus on those two, and those guys, like, they never really had enough time to shine, so they just kind of felt like very generic, but like they felt real. Like they felt like real characters, like on how they would react in this revolution, like, or this rebellion situation. I just like seeing characters with obvious flaws, and they have to find ways to deal with flaws. Unlike Rey, who's literally a Mary Sue stuck in like an alternate dimension fan fiction.
Okay, and I'm gonna say this. I still like both movies, and this is from someone who saw the re-release of the first three movies in theaters as a kid. I have very fond memories of those movies as a child. Like, I still even like the prequels. I don't know. I like. It's like other than maybe some elements of episode 2, maybe with the exception of the battle of Geonosis at the end, because let's face it, that was kind of awesome. I'm kind of incapable of actually hating most things Star Wars.
I thought the same till I watched like The Force Awakens. Like, it bored me. When has a Star Wars film ever bored me?
I liked Force Awakens.
See, I did too.
I didn't.
I liked Force Awakens. I liked Rogue One. I liked Last Jedi. I'm eagerly looking forward to the Han Solo movie. I have no idea how they're going to handle that.
Just one thing.
I'm not going to use a creepy CG face, but...
Inky, please explain why you didn't like Force Awakens.
I am not going to go into much detail about it, but during the whole film, I was just like, meh. I didn't have any sort of moments where I was on my edge of my seat. Nothing much enjoyable, actually. It's just, eh.
So you were basically bored?
Yeah, it wasn't. My dad says, "Oh, it's so awesome." I would just say, "Oh, yeah, it's awesome," but to be honest, it's just meh. It's just average.
That's the whole thing. That's literally the whole thing. Like, there was so much retreading of not just A New Hope, but a lot of Empire Strikes Back, and that's like, okay, but we've seen all of this. We were supposed to get like a brand new take, or like at least a new angle of how to consider Star Wars. And I applaud The Last Jedi for trying to do that, right? Because, you know, okay, we're going to get into spoiler territories right now, so...
Hang on, can I finish
if you're
this
gonna...
part? Can I finish this part? But one of the things that Force Awakens made me do is to not go watch The Last Jedi, because I was bored in that movie. I was bored watching that movie, and now The Last Jedi is still in theaters here. But every time I go with my parents to the movies or with any friend, I always refuse to go to watch The Last Jedi. Instead, I watch Geostorm, which apparently it was shit, and anything else that's not The Last Jedi.
Yeah, but you're just avoiding it.
Yeah.
Because you've seen how decisive it is.
Yeah, and also because I heard from Sheba that it was kind of like a slap to the face to every Star Wars fan. So,
That's not how I've seen it. I definitely enjoyed it. There were several moments where I was at the edge of my seat.
I agree with Finn.
What Finn?
Sheba, the one who's in the podcast right now.
That was a joke because we're talking about Star Wars, Finn.
Oh, well,
Never
shut
mind.
up. Finn, did you want to give your sense too, or oh wait, he's not there right now.
I really enjoy
Yeah, he's right
like,
here.
I actually really like BB-8. Like some of the scenes he got in Last Jedi, I thought were great. Like it shows BB-8, like he's not just like there. He can actually do things. He can actually be really helpful, and that's what I really enjoyed. Like seeing him like help the main characters, even saving their lives. One scene he shot out a bunch of poker chips like a machine gun. Okay,
Well,
as corny as that was, I got a really good laugh out of that. I'm like, yeah.
R2 was able to do the same thing, and like nobody's giving any like recognition there.
Well, yeah, but R2, but R2 doesn't have much of a bigger role. I can give R2 some of that credit. Like if you remember in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, those two super battle droids, he managed to fight them off by like spitting oil on them and then setting them on fire.
And not even in the first time when he's introduced in supposedly the freaking Phantom Menace, he was the one who repaired the ship single-handedly.
Well, I mean, they were all working on it, but he was the only survivor.
Yeah, that's the thing. That wasn't a matter of skill. It was more that the other astro droids just got shot apart first.
Well, it would have been
because it's
like
R, and because it's R2, he has plot armor. Because let's face it, shows up later on.
Yeah.
We let him complete the sentences before we cut him off.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, I kind of was done.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this was getting a little off topic to begin with, but okay. Back to The Last Jedi. I felt like what they were trying to do was admirable. They're trying to set up like an idea that there's more than the Jedi of the Sith, and I can definitely get behind that idea if it's handled well. But what's happening is, what it should have been is that Snoke could have been trying to revive the ideals of the Sith, while Luke could have been trying to like renew the ideas of the Jedi, and then Rey and Ben, in their own specific ways, but alike, reject the old ways and try to start something new together. Because if you saw in the trailers, you saw Kylo Ren reaching out to his hand to Rey, like, let's start something new, and that got me thinking, oh my god, maybe they're gonna abandon everything and like start a whole new order where there's no light or dark side. It's just the Force. It's just the power, like, that is in everything. But no, they had to make Snoke not a Sith and like Luke want to destroy the Jedi, because that's super out of character of him. If you remember him from Return of the Jedi, he wanted to revive the Order. That's why it's called Return of the Jedi. He wanted to revive the Order. He was the last Jedi of now, and then while keeping his determination and his optimism to try to return the Order, he was able to have Darth Vader return to Anakin Skywalker. With his determination and the light side of the Force like strong with him, he was able to convert Vader back to how he was before. But the way they make him now, he's this like sheltered, like shriveled hermit who's hiding away from his problems and like cut himself off from the Force. From what? From failing like one student?
Well, actually, if you paid attention, Kylo Ren ran off with several other students, so there were some students that he failed. It wasn't just Ben.
But there were going to be some that stayed behind. What Luke should have done was train the ones who left behind, or at least defended the ones he left behind from Kylo and keep them safe, not just sit around and watch as all of them get slaughtered and then hide away somewhere else. Like Mark Hamill himself said, that's not my Luke Skywalker. That's literally, they botched my character. And it was going to be worse, but Mark Hamill was able to at least come with a compromise with what's the name of the director? I don't know. The director of Episode 8. They had a lot of like differences in terms of how they would portray Luke, but through like a lot of like discussions, they were able to like come into middle ground, and that's what we got in the film. I'm just saying, it's just like Disney just really has no respect. They just want to kill off all the original trilogy cast members just so they can be like, hey, look at our new characters, look at these amazing Mary Sues, you know what I mean?
So they're basically just trying to make a new generation of Mary Sues, which is not really needed.
Well, not really just make a new generation of Mary Sues, but what I'm saying is like they're just trying to make everybody forget about the old trilogy and be like, look, Disney has this thing. Disney is so much better, right, guys? Let's all forget about that old fart George Lucas and make something amazing with our Disney brand.
I mean,
Yeah, they can't far.
okay. To be fair, what at least when George Lucas was in charge, he did kind of have a bad habit of trying to put in stuff for the kids, and usually it came off as the most annoying shit ever. I think the worst we've gotten are the porgs. At least those are usually kept in the background.
Okay, I still laughed at that scene, especially with Chewbacca. Like he's eating meat, and then these things are bothering him, and he's just like, "Fuck off!" And then they all just leave.
I think he was actually eating other porgs.
He was frying another pork.
So I think we can agree that everyone here is pretty 50-50 split on it.
I still don't hate the prequels. I actually really like Episode 3.
Yeah, Episode 3 was good. Some of Episodes 1 and 2 are good. It's not all of it's bad, but some of its majority of those two, yeah. Upon looking back at them,
I'm kind of.
I mean, a nostalgia critic did defend some of the moments in the prequels, especially. Like, one thing is, everyone's saying Hayden Christensen's a terrible actor, but he also mentions a lot that even a ton of other actors were also pretty bad, but everyone just seems to pin it all on him. I mean, think about it. You got Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu, but was Mace Windu really such a memorable character?
yes.
Hell yeah, he is.
For me, dude, Samuel L. Jackson in general is memorable in most things he does.
No, I mean like his character, not the fact that it's Samuel L. Jackson, but like if you pretend it's not Samuel L. Jackson, do you remember much about it?
Yeah, I know. I remember a lot about Mace Windu. He's supposed to be the most powerful Jedi of the entire Order. He's supposed to be like the second most powerful Jedi Master and the strongest in terms of combat. He was able to harness the power of both the light and the dark side to create his own form of lightsaber technique, to the point where if anybody tried to learn that same technique that Mace Windu's mastered, they would automatically be converted to the dark side. An example would be Quinlan Vos, who tried to learn that specific technique of
I guess it's more
in terms
more the dialogue he's given.
I'd like to say that.
When I think Samuel L. Jackson, I think of him saying "motherfucker" a lot.
Yeah. Lock off Shiva.
I say, if you want to know one reason why Mace Windu's memorable, 2 words: purple lightsaber.
And at least they were able to find a in-canon reason of why he has a purple lightsaber. Because if you knew the real reason, it's just hilarious.
What is
the real reason? I'm not.
Samuel L. Jackson just walked up to George Lucas and asked him, "Hey, I want my. Can I have a purple lightsaber?" And George Lucas is like, "Yeah, sure, okay."
That is amazing.
That actually is pretty funny, and
I mean, how do you say no to Samuel L. Jackson?
Because if you say no, he'll quote the Bible and then shoot you. Pulp Fiction reference.
Indeed.
Eh?
It's a great movie that you haven't seen. Let's just add.
It was actually Megan Echo that actually made me interested in watching it. Glad I watched it though.
Let's just add that to the ginormous list of movies that JXDemon has never seen.
Yeah, I've never watched a lot of them because I'm not big on live action movies.
Okay, so moving to another topic.
I enjoyed it.
How about we let Shiba advertise his the DBZ game?
How about we don't?
Easy now.
No.
How about we don't? Because I don't have anything really to say about it. All I can say is that's coming out later this month. That's it.
Oh fuck! I forgot.
I mean, you could say, but
It's coming out later this month, but I'm trying to save. Okay, I'll buy it at the end of the month when I get my check.
We're just going to try.
Nice.
I mean, you could still advertise it and give your opinion about it, Finn. Like, it doesn't matter. All you just want to hear is you talk.
Yes.
I've had nothing to contribute this entire time, though. That's the problem.
Well, you could have contributed during the Star Wars talk.
No, that's the thing. I couldn't contribute because I had nothing to say on the matter.
Why? Was it like everybody took what you were going to say, or you just didn't like have an opinion of it?
Both.
That's fair.
We're the only people who have a neutral view on Star Wars, but even I could see that the newer films are just taking away from what the old one. The older films is good.
Okay.
Alright, all I will say is the game looks pretty, and if the rumors hold true, I can understand why base form Goku and Vegeta are in the game. Just a little annoyed about their DLC.
What game is it again?
Animal Fighters.
I don't know why they... I listened to the reason, I'll be loud. Base form Goku and base form Vegeta, if they're in the game, are to appease the Japanese fan base, since they've been pestering Arxis and Mando Nankai on social media since the game was revealed due to how good. And in base form Goku's case, great. They were on a reboot of 3DS. So it looks like Japanese fighting developers and including characters to please the Japanese fan base, which the story is all this time. You know, like, perfect example, Street Fighter 3. Did you know that Ryu and Ken weren't going to be in that game? Like, not at all? The next show was going to be Sean. But then the Japanese fans were like, no! It's not Street Fighter! It should burn in hell! So they put in Ryu and Ken, shut the fans up.
Yeah. I know what that's like. I know, I've seen that a lot. It always happens just to appease fans, and most of the time it always just backfires in the developers' faces. That's what happened in the same situation happened when they were making, do you remember the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Oh, they're gonna be aliens?
Yeah, they were gonna be aliens, but, what's his name? The Shredder that we got wasn't going to be the actual Shredder. It was supposed to be like the business guy that like showed that like kind of looks like he's the main bad guy, but then they pull a 180 and the Shredder that we got in the final product of the movie was like just this old Asian guy that barely had enough screen time and plot development. When people found that out, the fan base like tore a new one to Michael Bay, but like that's kind of like the fandom basically ruining a project, because when the movie came out, it was those same fans that were criticizing Michael Bay for not giving enough plot development to the Shredder that we got. But they gave a lot of plot development to that business villain who just disappears halfway through the movie. I mean, like, how sad can you be, or just like how picky can you be, like trying to keep your old source material exactly to a T? Like it just boggles. I don't know. Like exactly, it's just like messing with my mind. Like you complain that something's different, but then you also complain that something different wasn't good and you wanted it to be like the original thing. Like,
Well,
we please you.
It's kind of been hypocritical.
I mean, usually say.
I think.
I mean, there have been a lot of cases with that with a certain hedgehog, but we've already talked about enough of that last time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, let's veer away from there. I'm honestly tired of discussing that.
Yeah, let's just move away from the hedgehog.
Well, now that we're done with that topic, here's the random question of the day. What's your, I don't know if I asked this in the previous one, but what's your favorite genre of games, and what is your most hated genre of games, and why?
I guess I'll
go first for this one.
Go ahead, Gunny.
I didn't want to go first.
I'll go. If I had to pick a favorite genre, well, of the games I'm playing recently, platformers and RPG.
That's loud. That was very loud and hurt my ears.
Yeah.
Buddy, murder. Anyways, I think I'm out of things to contribute, so you guys do your thing.
Okay, so I said platformers and RPGs for my thing, favorite genre of game. If I could explain the reasons why, well, I've grown up with platformers for a majority of my life since I was a kid, and RPGs, did I say anything about how many I have my 3DS? I have like 8 already. That's gonna grow with a 9th one being Xenoblade 2. I don't berate me, guys. I know about your hate, and I think I've had enough of it.
Okay.
I know it's a joke, but just, you know.
Okay. Shiva, you're next.
I didn't even say my least favorite.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, JX. Which is your most hated one?
Well, this is more indifferent towards, and it's unsurprisingly the FPS genre. I mean, I'm not gonna say full-on hate, just indifferent to them. I know they're easy to pick up and play, but I just feel like I can't get myself invested in a shooter at all. I kind of want to try getting into a shooter genre-esque game, but I'm not the biggest fan of them due to certain people in the community. And I know a community shouldn't make you judge a game on its own, but even in my opinion, I'd rather not deal with said community either. I need it. Again, a certain hedgehogs community already made me, and a certain other community with swords and anime waifus, as the recent trend, have been ruining for me, but I ignore them still.
You know, you can just say the names because you're just gonna make people confused.
Yeah, might as well, dude.
Like Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem and Sonic's community pretty much are the main reason why I don't like interacting with communities.
All right. Shiba, what about you? What's your favorite genre and your most hated genre?
Call me Finn.
Sorry.
Let me see, I grew up with fighting games, and do I have to pick a genre I hate? Do I absolutely have to?
Yes.
Oh boy. How about the one that I least like?
Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy.
Not me.
No.
I think just trying to figure it out right now.
Least favorite.
What?
Ironically, Puyo Puyo.
So, puzzle game.
No, just that one specific puzzle game. All the other ones are fine.
I like Puyo a lot.
Good for you.
Yeah, I said the one I least like. I didn't say I absolutely hated it, but unless I did, in which case I'm sorry, but I'm not good at it.
My turn?
I guess, yeah. Go for it.
Alright, favorite. It'd have to be realistic racing games. Don't give me any of that Mario Kart stuff. Give me my Need for Speed, give me my Forza, give me my Gran Turismo, because that stuff I remember playing with my dad since the original PlayStation days with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. It's just it just feels nice, like driving one of those like cars and then watching like I know these games are kind of unpopular in the gaming community technically because everybody's always wants their IPs or the first person shooter. Like nobody really cares about sports games and stuff. Like stuff really interests me because I'm a big car guy myself. And when you get to race in a Ferrari Italia 458 while going through like the streets of Monte Carlo, it's just like, when are you ever going to get that opportunity in life, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Like I can safely say I spent at least an hour playing the Forza 4 demo at my local Target. And I was literally mastering the game right before I even bought it.
Jeez.
Wow.
Like, that's how much I was into those games.
I've always wanted to try getting into the realistic races in Italy. I tried with Gran Turismo's on the Jam Pack disc.
Okay. Now for your most hated genre.
Oh, that's easy. JRPGs, every single one of them. They fucking suck.
Kiss my ass, Jane. Kiss my ass, gunshot. I'll shove a fucking crystal coconut up your exhaust pipe.
They're boring. They're too fan servicey. They're always exposition heavy and just very unentertaining to listen to. And goddamn, Xenoblade 2 just basically made me reinform that opinion.
Someone never played Earthbound, apparently.
Yeah, but that didn't have any sort of like Japanisms, now did it? That was
What
set
about
in the
Persona?
pilot stage.
Didn't have any Japanisms. That game was weird as hell and only a way a game.
And I applaud its weirdness because it didn't have to fall into like standard character archetypes to be popular.
Chrono Trigger?
Again, didn't fall into anime stereotypes or archetypes.
Xenoblade and Xenoblade X?
Xenoblade X? No, Xenoblade and Xenoblade X were good because they didn't do any of that archetypes. You're literally just...
So then why are you grouping JRPGs with ones that aren't that you like? Just say like the anime archetype JRPGs.
Because most of them are that.
No, they're not.
Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Okay. Enough.
Done trigger people.
Anime already, because I'm already done with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. JX. Okay. Des, what's your favorite genre?
Well, my favorite genre is platforming, the racing, and the puzzles, and RPGs. Like both type of RPGs, Western RPGs and JRPGs. Well, I kind of favor JRPG the most.
No need to believe me already.
Well, for my least favorite, sports like the EA sports games.
I'm gonna say this right now about EA's yearly sports titles. All they are just roster updates with minor tweaks.
Minor tweaks and more microtransactions.
And the Madden curse.
Pretty much.
Okay. JX did. Okay. So JX.
Sleepy's left.
No, Sleepy's here.
Sleepy's the only one left.
Oh.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Sleepy.
Hello, me too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about you.
Piece of shit.
Who are you again?
Who are you and what are you doing in our server?
I'm the guy that's gonna kick your ass when Smash comes to the Switch.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
which is better.
Enough. Rosen,
Anything.
your favorite genre?
See, I can't really answer that because I love RTS games. I love it. RPGs and I like FPS games. If I had to pick one, probably first-person shooter. My first game I ever played was Doom.
That's understandable.
Your most hated one? The one that you despise?
My most hated genre would be MOBAs. To me, they are pretty much a bastardization of RTS games.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot about I forgot MOBAs were a thing.
Oh yeah.
What are
It's like I don't understand their Actually, I do understand their popularity, but at the same time, don't.
But their complexity is just hardcore.
Their complexity is hardcore. Their communities are usually some of the absolute worst. Like, you would not find most Tumblr communities don't get that nearly that toxic. I think.
Like League of Legends.
Yeah, League of Legends was horrible. It's
Yeah, no wonder Donkey quit League of Legends.
No wonder I quit League of Legends.
Why am I still playing it?
Because you like the pain.
Yeah,
Heck,
apparently.
even my older brother, but he used to play League of Legends, but he doesn't like it because, yeah, like for obvious reason.
Yeah. Alright, who's left?
Fire and me. Go ahead, Fire.
Alright.
Oh,
What's your
there's a
favorite
lot of
one?
genres. I got a ton of favorites, actually. Multiplayer games, fighting games, platformers, adventure games, hack and slash games. Well, I'm not really a big fan of racing, but fuck me if like some of my favorite games on GameCube and N64 weren't racing games like Snowboard Kids 2 and F-Zero GX. RPGs is a big one, didn't I already say that? Well, JRPGs specifically. And
Your most hated
yeah,
one.
I just don't have an acquired taste. I just love all genres. But if I had to pick, it's hard to pick an absolute favorite. But I would say platformers and JRPGs and games that are like Metroidvania games are ones I really like the most.
And your most hated ones?
That was his most hated ones, wasn't it?
No, that's his most loved ones. What's your most hated one?
Oddly enough, I'm gonna say a lot of Western developed games. I just like Japanese games a lot more. I'm not saying that I hate out all of them. Some of my favorite games are Western developed, like a lot of indie games are Western developed, and you have some of my favorite games like Dust and Elysian Tale and Freedom Planet and Axiom Verge. Those games are fucking fantastic, and they're Western developed. And then you got dumbasses like Phil Fish going and saying all Japanese games suck from a guy that made one game and ran off with the money because he's such a big sensitive fucking baby.
I forgot that guy existed.
Yeah, and trust me, it's for the better. And I'm not a fan of Western RPGs. I don't know. Fable, I just found I could not get into it for the love of me. I tried, but now if I went back to it, knowing what to do now, thanks to Yahtzee, I'll just become a magic user and then spam that magic you get later on. That one spell called Evil Pentagram Soulsuck Horror, which when cast freezes your enemies and cripples them and drags their souls to hell for massive damage, and like you said, it becomes pathetically easy once you get that spell.
For massive damage.
Yeah.
Surprised you guys didn't.
Western RPGs just don't do it for me. Like I see my brother loves Fallout, but I just look at him like, it's a game, but I don't really like it. It just doesn't interest me.
Yeah, like my favorite Western RPG games is currently one is Mario plus Rabbids Battle Kingdom.
That was technically European developed.
Yeah, considering it's Ubisoft.
Technically still Western, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, if Metroidvania games can count as RPGs, Dust and Elysian Tale was, oh my goodness, if you haven't played it, You have to. It's phenomenal.
Okay. Inky's turn now.
Yeah, so far, my favorite genre, I am a sucker for racing games. Or at least pretty much any sort of racing game. Rocket League doesn't count exactly as a racing game, but it goes. It kind of dabbles into it. But games like Burnout, Need for Speed, Mario Kart, or even Gran Turismo, which is a childhood game, a game from my childhood, Gran Turismo 2. It's pretty much one, because of childhood, and two, because I'm collecting Hot Wheels cars. So that should be another answer. Now, my most hated genre, it comes to no surprise to some, if not everyone in this chat right now, is shooters. I mean, not all shooters. I love Doom. I love Wolfenstein.
Splatoon.
I love Splatoon. I played the living shit out of it. But the ones that Yahtzee calls Spunk Gargle Wee Wee, call
regenerating health, 2 weapon slots, cover mechanics.
I prefer the term bro games.
No, we call them Spunk Gargle Wee Wee.
That's retarded. Why the fuck would you call it that?
That's still one of those games.
Because it's exactly what it is. To me, that's exactly what it is. I just hate them. I hate Call of Duty. I don't like Battlefield. At first, I had Medal of Honor close to my heart, but seeing how it is now, it just follows the same thing as Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Especially Warfighter. Oh my god, Warfighter was terrible.
And I just hate those games. And that's not adding up the kind of players you face or you're teamed up with in multiplayer. When you're teamed up with a 10-year-old who's pretty much the crybaby of the group, or sore loser, and just screeches at the mic whenever they lose, and they start to boast too much when they make a kill.
Oh yeah, the term that what they call the squeakers.
Yeah.
It's children's playing those games, even though they're not old enough to play those games.
Exactly.
So, honestly, it seems to me more like it's not exactly the genre so much as it is the people who play it.
Yeah, because there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people can't. But the community can ruin the view on a genre.
They can.
Like in my opinion, that's why I'm so indifferent towards the FPS genre. It's the communities, not the games themselves. The games are great. Don't get me wrong, but it's just that's the main concern.
But yeah, everyone, now you know our favorites and our most hated ones, and with this, we'll conclude this podcast.
Already?
And y'all know mine is the real favorites, bid.
Oh.
Y'all know mine, real words of God.
You know you don't need to stand yourself that high on a pedestal.
Anyway, everyone, say your goodbye. Say your farewells, mates.
Firedragonpunch, and I'll see you next time.
Fading out.
Maybe I'll be here next time. Don't know.
This has been 5,000 Gunshots signing off. And remember, all anime is trash.
Shut up, Gunshot. You don't know what you're talking about. Firedragonpunch signing off, and everybody knows Gurren Lagann will totally kick Optimus Prime's ass.
It's hilarious how butthurt he is about it.
Okay.
You're true.
Enough of this shit already. I'm sick of it.
Also,
Okay.
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 I think Finn left. Finn, you there? Finn's
Muted.
Dang it. Well, I'm gonna say.
He says bye too.
Okay, I haven't. Okay, so.
Okay.
I hope I see you guys next time. I'm starting. I'm starting. SuperStarDes.
You don't need to drag it out. Yes.
Okay.
So
Next.
That's it. That's it for everyone. And I will see you guys. Well, we'll see you guys in the next video. I suck at outros. I'm very sorry.
Hey, we were never good at ending stuff anyway.
Yeah. And
That's why we get.
and cut.